Hey guys, this is EST Jennings coming to you from the Birmingham office here in Alabama. And for our Ask the EST section on social media, we got a few questions finally come in. So here I am to answer them for you. I got a lot of notes here, so I'll be turning and grabbing and all that. But hey, I encourage you guys and gals to send questions in. If you don't ask, you may never know. And if you ask, I will do my best to answer. Okay? So I'm going to wrap up the first two questions. We got 4 questions today, but I'm going to wrap up the first 2 with one section of answers because they're similar, but I will read both questions, okay? So question 1 was, what do you do special for military service members trying to get into the trades after active duty service? And then question 2 was, what do you do to help veterans get into the apprenticeship programs? So we do a lot, in my opinion, but I want to give you a couple things that you can do to help yourself along. First thing, you can always go to southernstatesmillwrights.org. You can click on locals, and then you can click on any of the pins on that map that you're interested in. If you're in Houston, you can click on that pin over Houston. It's going to give you the business agents, a picture of them, their name, their phone number, their email address. It's going to have the regional director on there. It's going to have the training guides on there. There's a wealth of contact information on our website. Again, southernstatesmillwrights.org. But besides that, if you're a veteran, any veteran can go to helmetstohardhat.org and you can register on their website. Now, if you register on their website, they're not only going to help you become a millwright, but they'll give you other avenues to other trades for potential career advancements, right? And the only thing that I believe Helmets to Hard Hat has is you got to have an honorable discharge. It can be a medical discharge, it can be a regular discharge, but it must be an honorable discharge. If you have an honorable discharge, you can go to helmetstohardhat.org and register there. Now, what does that do with you when you come to the UBC? That puts you at the front of the list, okay? If we got 100 applicants there and none of them are veterans, none of them are Helmets to Hard Hat, or none of them come through our MVP program that I'm fixing to talk about, you would go to the front of the line to be processed into our union and our apprenticeship program, okay? So remember, helmetstohardhats.org. All right, now let me talk to you about our MVP program. That's the Military Veterans Program, and we actually have that set up at 3 Army bases currently: Fort Hood, Fort Campbell, and Fort Drum. So soldiers that are transitioning out of the service at any of those 3 bases can look up our MVP program. And you can look that up at ubcmvp.org, okay? So in your last 180 days when you're transitioning out and you get enrolled in our MVP program, we'll put you through 8 weeks of training while you're still active. And when you get out, if you successfully complete that program, when you get out of the military, you can transition to a UBC local anywhere in North America. You choose. If you want to go home, say you're from Kansas, you want to go back to Kansas, we'll hook you up with that local, and you get credit in our apprenticeship program for completing that 8 weeks of training, okay? The Millwright Pile Driver First Committee is continuing to search for additional posts that may allow us to set this program up at their facilities. Some of them we set up on post, and some of them are just outside of post in the civilian world. But we have a group of individuals that work on that. And if you need any further information about the MVP program, you can call, you can go to ubcmvp.org, and at the top up there in the taskbar, you'll see a phone number and a gentleman's name by the name of Ben Higginbotham. contact him. He will help you navigate that MVP program, okay? So that's a lot of things that we do for our veterans. I'm a veteran myself, and going from one brotherhood to another brotherhood is really, really great. Probably the closest thing, well, really the only thing I've done after the military was become a UBC member and a millwright, and never looked back. So hey, hopefully you can get hooked up with us, and we'll see you soon, right? All right, so our third question. This question honestly irritates me, and I hope it irritates most of our members. And this comes from a member that's obviously disgruntled and not involved. And honestly, on the Ask the EST forum, you're supposed to have to leave your UBC number. We didn't have that checked, mainly because I want to know who I'm talking to, right? But I'm going to answer this question anyway, because I think it's important to address this issue with some of our members that are not involved in our labor movement. You know, we're a union, we're a labor movement, we're more than just a job. But if you're not involved, you're not going to know, okay? So here we go. This is whoever asked this question. Why do y'all cater to the contractors and turn your backs on the dues paying members? Personally, I want to call horse potatoes on that one, guys. You may not always like what we do, and I would need to know the specifics of any situation that you're talking about. But we negotiate a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement. It has terms and conditions in there that the contractors are required to follow, and it has terms and conditions that we are required to follow. At the end of the day, we follow those agreements to the best of our ability to ensure the success of our members and our contractors. If we don't have successful contractors, you don't have anybody that's going to employ you. They've got to be profitable, and we have to hold them accountable. But they need to hold us accountable too. We can't just go out there and twiddle our thumbs and not produce, be unproductive, be unsafe. If we do that, we all go out of business. None of us have a job. So it behooves us to go out there and be good and faithful workers. It's what our Constitution says we should be. We should be. If that contractor's profitable, he's going to be able to go bid more work. That's going to give our members more opportunity to work, and they'll be able to make a better living for their family. So I wanted to say a few more things. Specifics, of course. We have a CBA that we must follow. Everybody needs to be profitable, and all of us need to be accountable, okay? And I wrote a few more things down for this person, because I don't know if it was a gentleman or a lady. We have a UBC Constitution, right? So the second half of that question is, and where does all of our money go? Okay, that's where this comes in. The UBC Constitution, you get one when you join. We mail them to our members periodically because they get updated at every general convention. You can get one at your local union if you don't have one. So obviously, if you don't know where any of the money's going, you're not involved. And you could be. You could start by going to your local union meeting. I got the Constitution open to, well, in a spiral bound copy. It's different if it's a staple copy. Page 95. Order of business. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's how a union meeting is supposed to be run, okay? And if you're at that union meeting and you're listening to what's going on, your president, your vice president, your financial secretary, your business agent, you'll get all the information about where is your money being spent, okay? You pay your window dues, you pay your 4% assessments. And at your union meeting, under item 7, under order of business, is communication and bills. They're going to tell you where They're going to communicate the bills to you. They're going to tell you where that money's being spent. On item 9 is appropriations of money. They're going to tell you about the money. Item 10, receipts from the General Secretary Treasurer for monies sent to the general office. Okay? So for most of the locals in the southern states millwrights, our union dues are $27 a month. $13 of that $27 goes to our international for per capita tax. So the remainder is what your local runs on. They got to pay for a building. Maybe they're renting a building. They got to pay the light bill, the water bill. You got an office manager that needs to be paid. There's a lot of expenses that go along with running a union. But you can find out where every penny is spent if you're engaged at the union meeting and not just out there gossiping or talking about something or maybe listening to someone that's not engaged and they really don't know. They're just talking. So get involved, right? Also, item 12 in the order of business, it's called reports of officers, delegates, and committees, right? Under that section in a union meeting, you should be getting a delegate report. So that's the delegates that you guys should have elected to come to the council, and they hear everything about the council. They approve our minutes, they approve our bills, they approve our budget. They see everything. You got trustees that sit on that. They see every penny, those trustees do. The trustees deliver a report to the delegates at that council meeting, and the delegates have an opportunity to either approve or disapprove, ask questions, gain clarification on every single penny spent. Now those delegates, your delegates that you elected, they should be coming back to your local and giving you a delegate report under reports of officers, delegates, and committees, right? Also, you should get an EST report. I personally, as EST of this council, send those reports to your local, okay, to your recording secretary. It's a pretty thick booklet. It's spiral bound, and it has every single step of our delegate meeting. You can see the money in there. It's got a budget. It's got the proposed budget. It's got the proposed versus the actual. Plenty of information. All right, and I'll close that part with this. Your BAs or anybody that has Personify access can go into Personify and they can pull down the secretary's report. It gets emailed to us, executive secretary treasurers, but you can go in there and they can pull that secretary's report down, and it shows you the big picture of the whole UBC. General Secretary Flynn does an awesome job at communicating with us on the finances of the UBC. So I'm gonna get off of this. I wish I knew who you were, who I'm talking to directly, probably a lot of guys, but whoever submitted this question or these questions. If you're waiting on anything, you're waiting on yourself to get involved at your local union. And honestly, that's what we're all waiting on. Because if we're all in it together, we have a louder voice and we will accomplish so much more than people that are divided and possibly just causing inner bickering or division within our labor movement. We will never win when that, I got a saying I like to say, nothing tears a family apart like a pack of wolves. We don't need no wolves. We're not sheep, but we don't need no wolves.